It's now time for Thankful Thursdays, a platform designed for your growth and personal development. Thankful Thursdays is sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC, where you can get motivational t shirts and Fiona Salmon's biography. It will be long, but not forever. Now, here's your host, Fiona Salmon.
A warm welcome to viewers on Facebook and YouTube Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're diving into something special, yoga beyond the mat. Now you're seeing on a different set. So get your mat, get everything ready, get your water. Let's welcome our guest today is Daniel Dozima. Welcome to Thankful Thursday. How are you doing?
Thank you. Hi, Fionia. Nice to be
Hi.
here.
Thank you
Nice to be
so
here.
much. Daniel is a yoga teacher, healer, and guide us all through those approach to yoga goes far beyond just physical. Daniel,
I can't hear you.
listen.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm sure my listeners will enjoy this session of Thankful Thursday. Before we get into Thankful Thursday, I want to say Thankful Thursday is sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware sets, motivational t shirts. It will be long but not forever, featured from my book. So please go ahead, get a copy of my book. If you already get a copy of my book, thank you so much. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead, click that notification bell while you subscribe. And let's get into the discussion with Daniel. Let's start at the beginning to give listeners a sense of how your journey unfolded. Can you take us back to the first encounter you had with yoga and what drew you to yoga?
It's the most pleasant experience. I was quite used to doing stuff like strength training and, horseback riding and creative dancing. And I ended up taking this class, which I didn't really like. I thought it was slow. I thought it was boring. And then a few months later, a friend of mine who was suffering from multiple sclerosis, she invited me to do a yoga class with her, with another teacher. And so I said, okay, I'd go. And I went to the class. And first off, when I saw her, she looked amazing. She told me about the benefits. She was able to help with her balance because multiple sclerosis does affect that. And she lost weight and her skin, and she just looked amazing. And I took the class, and I think that right after that class, I was in love. And it's so funny because I ended up going to the first teacher that I went to and ended up doing my certification. So I say all of that to say that when you're trying yoga, it's good to try different teachers. It's good to try different different kinds of styles if you want to experience it. So yeah, that was my first experience.
So many people will think that yoga, for different reasons, such as the physical, the mental, the emotional, what did attract you other than the appearance? Was it she was looking happy, or what really attracted you to
Oh, you
yoga?
mean my friend when I saw her?
Yes.
Yes, it was just her glow. And she just looked so happy. She was, she's told me of all the benefits that she felt, where she felt more at peace, less anxiety. Because again, multiple sclerosis, it was at a time, she was having a lot of issues, a lot of flare-ups, and she found that it was able to calm her, and I found that to be amazing. So apart from just the physical, it was just her whole demeanor, her whole the way she spoke. It was, and of course she was telling me of how it changed her life.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's dive a little bit in yoga beyond the mat. A lot of people think that yoga is just on the mat itself. But
Mhm.
what does yoga beyond the mat means to you personally?
Well, yoga off the mat means that you are integrating those principles that you learn on your mat. So, for example, on our mat, we're learning to be probably more compassionate. We are learning to be more kind, maybe more understanding, and not just to other people, but to yourself. So, I find that when I'm off the mat, maybe a way that I may have responded before, I take a pause and I think about it first. If I am in a situation where I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling frustrated, I'll take a pause and I will probably do a breathing technique, you know? And so that's where yoga has helped. It's not about having to do an hour on the mat and that's your yoga practice. You can find ways of interweaving it into your daily life.
Um, I totally agree with you when you said that yoga will help to reduce stress and also for relationship parenting. What what are some of those practices that one can practice in their daily life to help to release or to reduce some of those stress or everyday stressors?
Well, definitely, I would say apart from the physical practice, breathing and meditation. Breathing techniques have a way of calming the mind and the body because you are calming the breathing technique. You're using a breathing technique to soothe. And the meditation is what I would say grounds and centers you. So for
Yes.
me, those two are my anchors. Those are the two things that I would look to do when I am, out and about living, doing my daily life, not on my mat. And yeah, I would say breathing and meditation, two
Since you
big ones.
mentioned, since you mentioned breathing, is there a breathing technique that you can actually demonstrate right now, just sitting down for us to practice at home?
Sure, sure. So we have a breathing technique which is called box breathing. And so
Okay,
with box breathing, we're going to inhale for 4 counts. I'm going to do the count. We're
okay,
going to pause for 4. We're going to exhale for 4.
okay,
And then we're going to pause for 4. So
okay.
I'm going to invite everyone, if you're sitting on a chair, you can just rest your hands onto your thighs. And you also want to make sure that your feet are flat onto the ground. You want to make sure that your feet are grounded. We also want to make sure that we're sitting up nice and tall. So if you want to use the back of your chair, you can. And just relax your shoulders and then tapping into what we call our yoga breath. So in yoga, we breathe in and out through the nose. So as you close your mouth, let's just practice that for a moment, just breathing in through the nose. Just breathe
Okay.
as softly and as naturally as you can. And feel free to close your eyes and exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, just breathing as normally and as naturally as you can. Exhale through the nose. Let's do that one more time. In through the nose and exhale through the nose. So we're going to get ready for the box breathing. I'm going to do the count. Again, feel free to close your eyes, relax your shoulders. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold that. 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you notice, the breathing and the pauses are all for 4. All right, so we're going to get started and we're going to do a couple of rounds. Let's try and just do 5 rounds. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, hands onto your thighs. Breathing in and out through the nose. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. On your next inhale, just come back to your normal yoga breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Just allowing your breath to be soft and smooth.
Wow, this is so relaxing. What if I'm
Yes.
having a stressful day at work or during a work routine day and say a 9 to 5? How many times per day do you think that one should take a break to really practice this breathing exercise, especially if it's a desk job, not even desk job, but any type of job?
I would say as many times as you need to. I think that, we are so busy these days. We're just running from one appointment to another, if it's kids, if it's work, it's the office, and we just never get a chance to really just take a pause and calm down. And so anytime in the day that you have that opportunity to do that, or if you feel like a situation is coming up, if you feel like anxiety is coming up, that would be a good time to listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to your soul, and take a pause. So it really depends on the practitioner, how they're feeling.
Wow. So,
Excuse me.
let's get a little bit personal. Has there been a moment where yoga helped you through a stressful day? And can you walk us through just a portion of that day? Let's get a little bit personal in your business a little bit.
I would say, throughout my life, yoga has helped in all ways. When I lost my dad, it is going to be 12 years this year. And I really strongly believe that my yoga practice really prepared me for what was happening. He was ill. And I feel that it really helped me. It took me through the process. And in so many other ways. I would say another way is that my father's homeland is Haiti. I lived in Haiti for about 10 years. I opened the first yoga studio there. And I moved back to Jamaica about 3 years ago because of all the issues that's going on over there. And that was very traumatic. I left a successful business, friends, my partner, and moving back home, that was pretty difficult. And I would say that yoga really helped me through that time. Just to adapt, and my life had changed, and I think it really helped me.
What do you hope to achieve by just moving to Jamaica? Was it to really help with all the crime and violence that is taking place? What really caused you to really want to move back to Jamaica or move to
Well, I
Jamaica?
wouldn't say that it wasn't something that was really by choice. I was really happy over there. I did feel that there was a time that I would move back. I really moved back because, as probably most of the world knows, that Haiti right now is there's lots of issues going on there. So I had to come back, and my hope is to continue doing what I do now. Spreading the word, teaching the practice, and having it more available, accessible to more people. And I primarily focus more on online and one-on-one yoga. And so I'm hoping to use that to spread the practice out more and more, because I think more and more these days, the world is, lots of strange things going on in the world. And, we're more stressed if it's not the weather conditions, if it's not war, if it's not financial. I think we need it. We're looking for something more and more each day to help ground us, the tools that we need that we can do ourselves to help us through that. So definitely spreading the word, hopefully.
Oh, that is so nice. That's so touching as well. Um, Thank you so much for tuning into Thankful Thursdays. I am your host, Fiona Summer, and today's guest is Danielle, and we're talking about yoga beyond the mat. And she is a teacher, a healer. She also will be guiding us through some of the poses that can help to release stress as well. So Thankful Thursday is sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware sets and also my motivational t-shirts, mug, cups, tote bags, pens. So please go ahead, support me and get one of those items. And if you're on this live and you would like to comment, please go ahead and comment. I see Yojo says, yoga is very important for mental, emotional, and physical health. So if you want your comments to be shown on screen, go ahead and also send your comments and it will be displayed on screen. And let's get back into the discussion with Danielle. Danielle, breathing and also stillness. So when you stay still, they're very huge part or huge aspect of the inner work. How do breathing work and meditation support one's off the mat yoga experience or practice?
Well, the wonderful thing, as I said, I find them to work hand in hand. They are what I call my anchors, and it's something that you can do anywhere. So, for example, if you're at your office and you're feeling stressed, you can just take a pause, even if it's for like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, doing maybe the breathing technique that we did
Yes,
earlier.
earlier.
If you are, in a situation where you're feeling maybe, like I said, anxious, maybe, you're having a disagreement with somebody, or you have to have a discussion with somebody that's not very, easy to do, you might want to take a pause, breathe, calm your heart rate down, and then be able to speak to the person. Meditation, is quite challenging for some people, well, for most people. And for me, I think the easiest way to practice meditation is just coming into stillness. It's not about like trying not to think of anything, because, thoughts are going to come in. But basically, what you want to be doing is focusing on your breathing. And that's something that you can do. And I think more and more people are becoming comfortable about doing that anywhere. I mean, actually, there are even in some airports that have areas or spaces for people to meditate, open meditation areas, because we're finding that we need that. Of course, as you develop and you practice, it becomes easier. But it's not, for some people, I know it is challenging. And I would say, even if you could do 5 minutes a day, that would be good. For me, a 20-minute meditation, I mean, I remember when I first started doing meditation, I kept like looking at the clock, when is the timer going to go off? And each time I would add, maybe a minute or two each time. And now, 20 minutes is fine for me, but it doesn't mean that you have to do 20 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes for the day. And then I think as you start to practice, you'll then find that you can stay longer.
Wow, that's great to hear. And is there any process in doing the stillness? Stillness can be okay. I'm here still. Is there
Mhm.
any other process? Like, should I be closing my eyes, or how do you
Absolutely.
how do you define stillness in your yoga?
In yoga, well, if let's say that you're home, you want to prepare your space to come into stillness. So one of the things might be dimming your lights. Maybe you want to make your lights a little bit lower, not so bright. Um, Scents are also important. So in yoga, we use a lot of essential oils as well. Essential oils are actually go hand in hand with meditation. You have different oils for different, different things. If you want to feel more energized, you might use something like lemon. If you want to do something where you want to feel a little bit more calming, it's been a long day at work, you might want to do something like lavender.
Oh,
Also, incense. Incense is something that is also, excuse me, used as well. So you want to prepare your space as best as you can. Sometimes it's good to have a little area in your, home that you use. You can go on a yoga mat. You can go on your bed if you'd like. You can do it. But stillness, like I said, can be anywhere. Of course, if you're out, you're not going to have access to all of those things. But by then, hopefully, you're able to practice, even though if there might be a lot of sounds around you, because you'll probably see somebody meditating and be like, how are they meditating? And all of that noise, everything is going around.
yes.
Because after you practice, you're starting. So, what you're doing when you're meditating, you're actually turning from the outward and turning inward. And like
Mhm.
anything else, it takes practice. So you're not going to get it the first time. It's not going to, it was like me when I tried the first class and I didn't like it. And
Mhm.
then I liked it after, you know? So, yeah.
You mentioned being in that stillness mode. But what do you think about when you're in that stillness mode? For me, it's so hard not to think about what I need to get done or where I need to be. I mean, what should I be thinking about?
Your breath. That's one of the easy, I wouldn't say easy. I need to not say that because it's not easy. But what I would recommend is focus on your breathing. So yes, your mind is going to wander. You're going to be thinking about
Mhm.
what I'm going to be cooking for dinner.
That's right.
I have to help my son or my daughter with homework. I have to run here. You're going to think of all of those things, and that's absolutely okay. When you find yourself doing that, you just want to come back to the breathing, focusing on the smoothness of your breath, and
Mhm.
that hopefully will keep you focused.
I love
Important
that.
thing is the important thing is that you come back. So
Ooh,
you feel yourself running away, you feel like the thoughts are going, but as long as you draw yourself back in, and then what happens, you start to lessen the amount of times that you do that.
wow. Wow. And
Mhm.
beyond stillness, can yoga help us to build that internal strength?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And that's such a good point that you mentioned. Yes, inner strength. A lot of us these days, I think, lose our self confidence. A lot of what we see on maybe social media, and you see you see all of these things happening. And,
Yes.
someone will say to me, social media is not real. But when you see all of these things, it can really play on your confidence and how you're feeling. And so, yoga plays a big part of what we call our inner strength, our inner fire. And that absolutely is important. So, yes, it's the balance. You can
Mhm.
find the peace and you can find the calmness, but yet there are times, I mean, we live in this real world, we have to be strong. So, we also have to build our inner strength, which is also important. And hence, that's where the physical practice and the emotional practice come together.
For listeners at home, let us give them something to do or for them to join us in a pose or practice the grounds in which to embrace those moments. Like,
Oh,
show us
sure.
some poses that we can actually use to
Okay.
bring or ground ourselves.
Sure. So I was thinking that we will do a modified version of sun salutation. So we're going to actually be standing. We're going to
Okay.
do sun salutation is one of the oldest sequences that
Okay.
was written. I'm going to bring this to the side. And we're going to do what is called a modified sun salutation. So I'm going to turn to the side so it might be easier to see. And I just want you to stand up nice and tall. Yes, you're barefoot. And just grounding in your feet, standing up nice and tall. We call this mountain pose. So let's turn the palms of the hands forward. And as you close your eyes, talking about that inner strength, think of mountain. Think of the properties of mountain. Mountain is strong. Things that you think about when you hear mountain. Majestic. Confidence. I think of confidence. Strong and yet beautiful. So this is our mountain pose. And yes, we're breathing in and out through the nose. So on our inhale, we're going to lift our arms all the way up. Inhale. And then on our exhale, we're going to take our time going into what we call standing forward bend. Exhale all the way down towards your feet. Just drop your head. Let your arms hang. Let your head hang. There you go. You don't have to touch the floor. Just let your head hang. If you want to bend your knees, feel free to bend your knees. And maybe while you're here, you're moving your head up and down, saying yes. Left and right, saying no. Nice. So we hold a lot of stress in our neck, so that's always good to do. We're going to go into what is called half lift. You're going to place your hands below your knees, and then I want you to lengthen your spine. So notice how the back is straight, the arms are straight, and you're going to bring your shoulders back. Notice how we feel that in the back of the legs. On your exhale, let's go back into standing forward bend. Just drop your arms, drop your head. Let your arms hang, let your head hang. And then we're going to get ready to go into downward facing dog. So downward facing dog is probably one of the most popular pose in yoga. We want to create the shape of an upside down V or a triangle. So you're going to bend your knees, hands down. We're going to take a big step with our right leg behind us. Step it back. And then you're going to step your left foot beside your right foot. And then without moving your hands, you're going to push the hips and the buttocks back. So this is what we call downward facing dog. Don't worry if your heels don't touch. Yep, you should be feeling that in the back of the legs. And if the arms are shaking, that's okay. You're supporting your body weight. Probably not used to it. And then we're going to take our time. Exhale, come down onto the knees. When we come down onto the knees, we're going to go into another popular pose, which is called child's pose. As you bring your big toes together, I want you to open your knees nice and wide. Big toes are touching. We're going to bring our hips and our buttocks all the way back to our heels. So come back to your heels as much as you can. Bring it all the way back. And then you're going to come down onto your forearms. And then try and bring your head down towards the mat. Breathe in and out through the nose. So we're going to stay here for about 5 breaths. So lower your head down. Relax. Inhale, exhale 5. Inhale, exhale 4. Inhale, exhale 3. Inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 1. Now on your inhale, we're going to come back to what is called table. So lift yourself back up, separate your toes. Our wrists are under our shoulders, our knees are under our hips. And we're going to get ready to go back into downward facing dog. From here, curl your toes under. We're going to lift our knees up. And we're going to exhale, downward facing dog. So notice that you're in that triangle shape again. Hold. We're usually here for 5. We're going to take our time. We're going to walk our feet up towards the top of the mat or up towards your hands. Take as long as you need to. Just walk all the way back up. Notice that you're in standing forward bend again.
Yes.
We're going to come back to half lift, hands below the knees, straighten your back. Try and keep your neck in line with your spine. Here we go. Exhale, let the arms drop again. Drop your head, look behind you. Don't worry if the hands don't touch. And then on your inhale, we're going to roll ourselves back up to standing. we're back in mountain. So this is a modified sun salutation, and this is something that you can do in the morning. You know, if you want to do a couple of these, 5 of these, 10 of these, work your way up, and that's your yoga practice.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's your yoga practice.
So I'm sure that it will help to release that stress and emotional
Absolutely.
tension, especially in the shoulder areas.
Yes. And that's where we hold a lot of stress. So
That's
we tend
so
to hold a
true.
lot of stretch in our shoulders and our neck, which is why I use that time to move the head up and down. Yes. And then when you're in your downward facing dog, yes, you're going to
Yes.
also be feeling it in your
Yes.
shoulders. Yes.
What's one cue that your body needs to practice or your body needs to relax? Is there a cue that your body gives off that says, hey, you need to relax, you need to slow down?
Good question. You know, our emotional body and our physical body are all tied in. And so whenever we're feeling any discomfort in certain areas, it is usually related to something that's emotional. So for example, if you're having stomach issues, I always think of that as being somewhat of maybe anxiety. That's where that's coming from. If you're having in your neck or in your shoulders, that's usually when you're stressed. So different parts of the body, to me, align with different emotional um, feelings that you're having. And so you can feel it in your shoulders. Yes, the back area is a big one. But not only that, we are also, you know, probably, you know, depending on the kind of job that you have, if you're standing up a lot, if you're sitting down a lot, if you're driving long distances, if you're traveling, you're definitely going to feel it in your back. And so all of those, you know, all of these things that we may be feeling, like I said, is more than likely connected to something emotional. And right there, that's your cue that you need to slow down. You need to do some sort of movement. Maybe there's something going on emotionally. It may be stress, anxiety, confusion, all of those things that we don't want could definitely be playing on the physical body.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack, but definitely it will work if you practice it every day for sure.
Well, yoga, they say, should be practiced every day. When I started doing yoga, traditional yoga class was 90 minutes long. These
Wow.
days, with how life is going, you're going to find classes that are sometimes half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And you don't have to do a full class to do yoga. And yes, you're trying to do it every day, but let's remember that even if you're not actually going on your mat, you're practicing yoga every day.
That's so true.
Let's say somebody frustrated you, and maybe the way that you would have responded before, you take a pause first and think to yourself, okay, how can I relay the same message? How can I say what I want to say without maybe shouting or, using expletives or, embarrassing the person? Right there, you're doing your yoga.
That's
If
true.
you are disappointed in something that happened and you're beating up on yourself, like, why didn't I do this, why didn't I do that? Maybe if you just stop and say, listen, trust, it has happened, it's the past, I'm going to move on, I've learned from it, I've learned my lesson. Right there, you're practicing your yoga. So you
Ooh,
don't have to actually do it on the mat.
word.
You're taking your yoga off the mat.
Word. A lot of people will say, I'm not going to do yoga because it doesn't help to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that myth really true that yoga doesn't help to reduce weight?
I think that everything helps. Of course, it depends on the type of yoga that you're doing. And they're all different. There's so many different styles of yoga. There is slow yoga, there is power yoga, there is hot yoga. But let's also remember that just doing your physical practice is not going to let you lose weight. Of course, our eating has a big part of it. I think
Yes.
that yoga should be a complement or part of your practice. Strength training is extremely important, especially as we get older. For women where we suffer from osteoporosis, and as we start to get older, our muscles start to weaken. So for me, strength training is just as important as doing the yoga practice. So I think it's a combination of both. And again, it depends on the type of class that you're doing. Power yoga is amazing because you're supporting your body weight. You're also moving a little bit faster. That's vinyasa flow. If you're doing something that's a little slower and you're holding your postures, you may not be losing weight, but you're definitely getting the benefit of the stretching, which most people. And another thing is that if you're weight training, you also want to incorporate stretching, because unfortunately, when you're strength training, weight training, it actually stiffens you up. As your muscles start to go, you start to stiffen. So this is where yoga would be a good complement for that, because after you're working up, building the muscle, you're also allowing yourself to stretch.
Awesome. It's yoga, or does yoga help you to maintain that posture, that nice posture?
Absolutely, absolutely. And posture is so important. It's amazing to me when I see students come into class and it's so difficult for them to even sit like this. And it's because of years of having bad posture. Let's remember that our head alone weighs about 8 to 12 pounds. So if you are walking around with your head down like that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, after a while, what happens is that the whole body shifts. So your hips shift, your knees shift, everything, your back. And so what happens is that as you get older and you start to, experience these ailments, they didn't just happen. These were things that were developing over time. So posture is definitely one of the key things that we learn in our practice and how important it is. Yes, that was definitely yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for, shedding light on that. Oftentimes, just out and about, I see people on their phones and their head is like down in their phones. No one looks up anymore.
Exactly. You're sitting on the couch, you're slouching, you're in a car, you're driving all the time, you're slouching. Yes. And it becomes a habit. So yeah.
The video that I'm about to show, it's really close to my heart. It's a project at Ferguson Primary and Infant School. And I have launched a GoFundMe page to support this initiative. And please take a look. And if you're moved to donate, please go ahead and type in Ferguson Primary and Infant School Project Campaign. Go ahead and enjoy the video. And don't. July 2024, Hurricane Beryl swept across Jamaica, causing widespread destruction, and our beloved Ferguson Primary and Infant School in French Park, Manchester, Jamaica, was not spared. One of the hardest hit areas of the school was the Guidance Counselor's Building. The roof was completely torn off, leaving the building unsafe, unusable. What was once a safe, supportive space for our students are now exposed. The Guidance Counselor's Building is more than just a room. It's where our children receive emotional support, conflict resolution, and a listening ear during tough times. It's a vital part of our school, a place where healing happens. Without this space, our students, especially those facing emotional or behavioral challenges, have lost their safe haven. We're calling on kind-hearted donors, alumni, community leaders and members, and friends across the world to help us raise $20,000 to rebuild the roof and restore this critical space by December 2025. If we reach the goal early, we will close the campaign and start building immediately. Transparency is our top priority. Every dollar will be used for the rebuild and we will share all spending with our supporters. Your contribution will cover roofing materials, skilled labor, contractor fees, storm proofing, waterproofing, minor interior restoration from water damage, building permits, and safety inspections. Full accountability is guaranteed. We'll provide photos, updates, receipts throughout the process, and also heartfelt messages from the students and staff. In a rural community like French Park, rebuilding isn't always quick or easy, but with your help, it's possible. Our children deserve a safe space to express their fears, dreams, and challenges. Let's not let Hurricane Beryl take that away. Donate any amount. No contribution is too small. Share the campaign on social media, WhatsApp, email, word of mouth. Encourage others to support this urgent need. Your support will help us rebuild not just a roof, but a lifeline for the children of Ferguson Primary and Infant School. From all of us at Ferguson Primary and Infant School in the heart of French Park, Manchester, Jamaica, thank you for helping us recover from the storm. Thank you for giving our students hope, healing, a safe space once again. Together we rise, together we rebuild. Help us restore what Hurricane Beryl tried to take away. Please go ahead, click on the link attached, or go to GoFundMe, type Ferguson Rebuild Campaign. Bye. Before we wrap Thankful Thursday, Danielle, where can people find you? Maybe to take a class or to follow your work?
Well, primarily I am doing online yoga. So I do groups and privates, and I also do in-person private classes. I do teach at True Self, which is here in Kingston off of Roselle Avenue. And I am working on my online platform. So if you are interested, please send a message to yogawithdanielle@gmail.com. We're going to be doing some beta testing on some classes. So I'd love to get, your feedback. And I'm also going to be curating some events, some yoga related events shortly. So, and also my social media page, Yoga with Danielle 876.
Awesome. Is there any special going on right now that anyone would want to take?
Well, right now, no, I don't have, but I am on the roster to teach at True Self. True Self is a yoga studio, like I said, in Kingston. But like I said, if you want to do privates with me, one-on-one, I do offer that, and also online as well.
What's the rough cost to do a one-on-one online? Say, for example, I want to do yoga.
Sure. It would depend. I mean, usually I start at maybe 35, and I do quote in US dollars, just to how my mind is working, but maybe like 35 US a class.
Per session?
But of course, yes, per session. But it,
that's
it just
25
depends.
minutes or 45?
No. That's it. Those classes are an hour. Those classes are an hour. But the good thing about your privates is that I will cater them, tailor them for what your needs are. So of course, price will vary. The amount, the length of the class, the type of class that we do is going to vary as well.
Awesome. Is there any other upcoming project that you want to talk about or make mention of?
Not at the moment, but another thing which people forget, there are people that say, no, I can't do yoga, I'm not flexible. And I'm like, well, that's exactly why you want to do it, because you want to become flexible. But chair yoga is also something that I find even people that don't need to do chair yoga really enjoy. Chair yoga was primarily created for those people that find it difficult to get up and down on the mat, maybe they have balancing issues, maybe they're severely overweight, or they can't stand up for very long, chair yoga is a great way of starting your practice. And I also do that as well. I also do prenatal yoga as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I also do prenatal. So chair yoga is a great way to start practice. And what it does, it really helps with your alignment. If
Oh,
you'd like, I can show you something that you can do on your
sure.
chair. All right.
Sure.
So if you'd like to do this, we're going to turn to the side of your chair. And you want to make sure that your feet are nice and flat. Now, depending on the chair that you have, you want to place your hands onto the back of the chair. And then on your exhale, you're going to twist looking over your left shoulder. And probably notice how that feels. So you're looking
Oh,
the other way,
yes.
Fionia. Look the other way. So you're going to turn your head the other way. Nice. And you're twisting.
Wow.
And that's a nice way of relieving tension from the back. And so to
Yes,
keep it
I feel
even, why
that.
don't we turn the other way? Let's try it the other way.
I really feel that.
Yes, don't you? So your
Yes.
feet are nice and flat. You're sitting up nice and tall. And here we go, placing the hands on the back of the chair. And then you're going to be looking over your right shoulder. So you should be looking behind you. Nice, twisting from the belly. We'll stay here, usually stay here maybe 5 cycles of breath. And then on your inhale, just come back, place your hands onto your thighs.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a
I
nice
really
way of,
feel that. Yes.
definitely.
Wow, Daniel, this has been such a rich and soulful conversation. Thank you so much for being here and being open and generous and give us some free yoga class in between. And thank
It's
you
my
so much.
pleasure.
Yes,
It's
thank
my
you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us. Remember, yoga doesn't end when you roll up that mat. It continues in every breathing technique, every step, and every choice that you make in life. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in on behalf of the entire team. That's Keisha Ikil, PR, and also Simon Ware on the production side. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay grounded, stay present, keep growing. I am your host, Fiona Salmon. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Thankful Thursdays with Fionia Salmon. Thankful Thursdays airs every second and fourth Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. in Jamaica, and it's sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC. Follow Fionia Salmon on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for info on future episodes and more.